Looking for stories that are fresh and new? Dark fantasy, humor, space exploration, time travel, cyberpunk, alternate history, and more. They're in the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future anthology from 24 award-winning authors and illustrators, plus art and writing tips and bonus stories. L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future. Buy your copy at galaxypress.com, Amazon, or wherever books are sold.
Looking for something new in dark fantasy, humor, space exploration, time travel, alternative history? They're in the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future anthology. Get the 10-volume box set with 159 stories and full-color illustrations plus 34 articles with writings and art tips. Get the UPR discount, $125 for the entire box set. That's a $60 savings for that beautiful box set. L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future. Go to uprntalkradio.com, click on the link, and place your order.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday night episode of Into the Night. I want to thank everybody for stopping in. I need to say my hellos, everybody. Hey, Johnny, good, Sabel, nice seeing you. I hope things work out all right. Hello, Virginia. Good to see you. And I'll tell you what, Sunday was a decent show. I really did enjoy myself, and I did listen to a little bit of Jenny's show. Johnny Freeman was the guy. Hey, Cindy Simpson, how are you? Good to see you. I listened to a little bit of the show, and Johnny Freeman, you did a very good job. It was a good show that night. Tonight with Jenny on Chasing Prophecy. Sebastian, hey, Sebastian, good evening, Sean. Another great show. Thank you, Sebastian. I'm glad you could pop in. It's really cool. So really nothing has happened in the last couple of days. Hey, Brandon, good to see you. Amanda, I know it's Amanda and Brandon, that husband and wife, I do believe. But now, nothing's really happened in the last couple of days. You know, everything was really pretty mellow. In fact, I'll be honest with you, I had Monday and today off, so it was pretty cool. We are on UPRN Talk Radio 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi, and this is a UPRN Talk Radio show. You know, it's a good platform to be on. We have all kinds of good hosts and have some good shows. Let's see. I need to get into this because my guest tonight, and a lot of you know him, and he is like my really, really good friend. He's very big into the paranormal, and I'm the only one that can call him Tony. Everybody else has to call him Anthony, okay? I'm the only one. It's funny. It's a joke going on. But my guest tonight is Anthony Ceballos from the Texas Wraith Hunters, and he just went to New Orleans, and he talks about the forest in San Antonio. So, hey, Kimmy, good to see you. Hi, Nancy, good to see you. And without further ado, Anthony, or my friend Tony. Hey, Tony. Hey,
how's it going?
Pretty good. Hello, Brian.
Tony.
How you been, buddy? What's going on?
Doing good. Making some big changes. I'm excited. This next year coming up, it's gonna be big. Hey, Kimmy. Hey, Nancy.
Johnny's there.
Okay, I see Johnny. Yep. Hey, Johnny.
Yeah. But yeah. So, what are your big changes that you're having?
The big changes. One is, of course, that everybody knows here that I will be moving to San Antonio to be closer to my little spot over there, among other spots there. I'm honored to have some awesome new members on my team, on the Texas Wraith Hunters team. that acquired in San Antonio. So there'll be a new group there. I do have two in Wisconsin, Mr. Reggie and Mr. Greg Koss. So they're kind of an extension of the Wraith Hunters in Wisconsin. And so, yeah, I mean, it's going to be awesome. I'm excited.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm glad to hear that. So actually, you can actually say that the forest is calling your name.
It calls a lot of people's names.
It's calling your name. God Almighty, is it calling your name? Pretty soon, you're going to be a fixture in that forest. I hope to God not, but
I think
but
so.
I think they got your name written over some trees and some rocks there. You know, like this is Tony's place. No one can come in Tony's place. Yeah.
There's some hieroglyphics in there in the rocks.
Yeah. Has the picture of the Wraith, which is like really, really cool. So you talked about going to New Orleans. Did you make the trip?
Yes, we did.
Tell us all about New Orleans.
Yeah.
And what was the trip about?
Actually, it was a Fear Fest. Howard Petrie was having a Fear Fest festival, which is like, a paranormal fest. He had a lot of actors there from horror shows and everything. So we went down there for that, and then of course after the festivals, then of course we went to the cemeteries. We're gonna squeeze that in somewhere. Oh, but that was really exciting because I have never. Hey, what's going on, Joe? I've only seen that type of cemetery, which is everything's above ground. You see the big tombs and everything, and normally that's the only place that I know of that is like that. Because I hear, in Texas, everybody's under the ground, so it looks like those scary movies, those old werewolf Dracula movies we grew up with, and I've always wanted to see that. And yeah, I mean, it lived up to what you see in the movies. Like I was saying earlier, it was spooky looking. And we went to 3 of them. We got there about 2 a.m. We left the room at 2 a.m. It was about 20 minutes from the room. And man, did we got EVPs like crazy. Because I used the necrophonics. And my other member, he uses SB7. So we used them at the same time, but we separated us on the cemetery, and they were actually answering our questions. Like I would ask a question, and they would answer through the SB7. He would ask a question, and it would come in through the necrophonics. So they were using both, and we were just getting one word. We were getting conversations. And I mean, it was just nonstop. I mean, I have never had that much activity through the SB7 and through the necrophonics like we did there.
Great.
So that was,
before we go on, I saw on the YouTube "Seeing Through the Veil." Real quick, that's Johnny Freeman's, Virginia's. That's their YouTube where they do readings and then they hold guests, and I have listened to a couple of their shows and they're very good. So anybody on here who wants to go and go to their YouTube, "Seeing Through the Veil," you will enjoy the group. Definitely enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
hey, Brandon and Sydney.
Yeah. Cindy Mitch, that's my friend. You know what? Honestly, buddy, ever since I hooked up with the right people here as my friends, I've been getting a lot of people in my chat, and they're good people. So hopefully we can bring them over to you. But I want to know about New Orleans. Whenever you went to the cemeteries or even walked down in New Orleans or the city, Bourbon Street and stuff like that. I don't know if you ever got it. Did you see any shadows? Because there's a lot of people that picks up shadows all over the place down there. Did you see any?
Yeah. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Sydney Reyes. She's an awesome investigator. She's my friend. She's from over there also. She's from San Marcos, which is not too far from San Antonio. Investigator with her too. But yes, we did go to Bourbon Street because we've never been there. We had to. and that is one wild place.
Is it?
I thought I had seen wild before. No, this thing here takes the cake. But it is a different place. It's got a whole different vibe. I mean, like I said, that was the first time I've been there, and all of New Orleans, it's basically haunted because of all the Katrina when they went through there. You know, the deaths that have been. There were people that have drowned. You know, we went to one shop in there. They actually had a full skeleton, a real skeleton that washed up from the storm, and they had it for sale.
Really?
Yeah, I've never seen that where you walk into a shop and there's a full skeleton there for sale. And we asked her where did she get it from, and she said that was from back when Katrina came to there. It washed up, so they just collected it. Nobody ever claimed it, so they just have it in there. It's actually one of the voodoo shops. So you have something like that in a shop, you're gonna have something around it. You know, I mean, that's an actual person that's not even buried. You know, so what's going on, Greg? And
hey,
that's
Greg, good to see you, buddy. That's
a great cause. Actually, that's one of my other members. And so he, yeah, it was something different. I have never experienced that, and there was some shadows. I mean, we seen, like I said, at the cemetery, we did catch. I had set my camera down on one of the tombstones, and while I was sitting there, I was taking a break. You could see it actually caught a black shadow come from the left, and it kind of snaked down, went in front of the camera. The camera focused in and out. The focus went in and out because it was trying to focus on it, and you could see the shadow go right in front of the tombstone. So, I mean, that was pretty cool. And that was just from setting the camera down because I was taking a break. You know, just set it down and boom, it caught it.
That's really cool because I know that hopefully. Hi, Kimmy. Hi, Pete. Good to see you. I know that when I want to go down there, I want to bring along like 7 or 8 different trail cameras or deer cameras and set them up all around the city. But also, when you were in town on Bourbon Street and around in that area at late, they also have vampires down there. Did you happen to run into any vampires while you were down there? I'm being honest with you. I'm asking.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, Pete? That's another member of mine for the Wraith Hunters. And actually, we were supposed to have a vampire. He goes by the name Papa Czar. I don't know if you've heard of him. He runs Voodoo Authentica on Bourbon Street. I think it's on Bourbon Street. And but he didn't get a chance to show up at the festival because we had a lot of Christian protesters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they kind of threw a damper on it, and you know, they were protesting because we had psychics there, and of course, you know, that doesn't go with the Christian faith. So we had picketers outside the forum, and so it kind of messed things up a little bit there. You know, people they kind of left real quick. So he didn't end up showing up. So I didn't get to meet the vampire. So because he is a practicing vampire.
Right.
So hopefully this next year that he does another one, we'll get to meet him.
Well, I hope so too. It's like I know the goth people up here in this area, and they're cool. I mean, I have nothing against vampires. But I personally want to, you know, actually sit down and have an interview with the vampire, just like that book was, and just like that movie, and just sit down and just talk to them because I have so many questions to ask, you know. And from like Joe Montaldo, who owns the station, he lives in New Orleans, and he tells us, well, he lives in Mississippi, but he does a lot of business in New Orleans, down around that area. And he talks about all the vampires and stuff that are happening down there, you know. And to me, it seems like Johnny knows one. Cool. So that's what I want to do, you know. Hopefully, I don't know. My goal is San Antonio, and we're going to get to that pretty soon. because you talk about it and you talk about it with me off camera, and I've seen some of the pictures that you have about the forest, and it's just great. But before we get into that, okay, what I want to do is I want to ask you, what was the best evidence that you got in New Orleans, and did you meet any other paranormal groups there?
Yeah, like I said, at the festival, we were there with other podcasters, and there was some other groups, another group there. I don't remember which one it was. But we did get to investigate with another friend of ours, Amy McKenzie, who she's also a podcaster, but she's also an investigator. She's awesome too. And when she got her backpack on, and she just took on like a stormtrooper, man. I mean, so we got to meet people that I've known through podcasting. We actually got to meet them. But the best evidence that I think that we got was, like I said, was just the EVPs. It was one after another. I mean, clearly they were calling me by my name Anthony, and they were calling me by the Wraith. Which
really?
There's no way that the necrophonic, because the one that I use, I have it on an 8-year-old phone. It has no service. I have the app on it, downloaded already. It has no service. It's 8 years old. Has no Wi-Fi, no nothing. It just has the app, so it's a dead phone. And then I use an auxiliary cord because I can use Bluetooth, but I don't want any type of interference. So I use a cord to the speaker. And so there's no way that the word Wraith would even be in there.
Right.
Now,
the people that responded to your EVPs, right, or what you heard on your equipment, did they sound like they were from New Orleans? Did they sound like they were? Because down there was a big slave trade going on down around that area. What was the voices sound? What did they sound like if you did get somebody from down south on your EVPs? What did they sound like?
There was a couple that did sound. They were. I would say somewhere maybe in their late 20s, maybe early 30s, and they had a different sound to their voice.
Was it French? Were they French?
No, it's just in the way they spoke. It wasn't, it just had a different sound, a different tone to it. It was two women that spoke back like that. The rest were just like normal voices. I did get one Spanish one.
Oh, you did? Cool.
Yeah, and she greeted me as soon as I walked in. As soon as I got off and I turned it on and started walking and saying hello, and because when I talk to them, I'm not actually asking questions in a way. I'm conversating with them. So it's kind of like me and you meet right now, and we're just talking. We're getting to know each other in a different way of not just going in and just say, what is your name? How old are you? When did you pass? I'm not interviewing them. I'm getting to know them. And I think that since I've changed that way, I've been able to get way, way more responses.
Well, dude, look at you, man. I mean, seriously. And I truly believe that if you treat the spirits with respect and you treat them like a human being, dude, you're going to get healthy responses. Do you know what I mean? And dude, you have a good soul, man. You got good energy around you. So, and they know that you're sincere, and they know you're for real, and they know that you're not going to hurt them. So of course they're going to be drawn to you.
Right. And they were just talking, and they were saying, here, stop here. He's coming. I mean, it's just one after another that I could actually, when I started doing, the captions on just to put them in there. It's just like you're scrolling down here. It's just straight, just going and going and going. They're just conversation after conversation. I mean, like I said, that was really cool. That and the spirit that came out, that dark spirit that I was telling you, it came out from the left. Because I set my camera down, and then it came out to the front, and my camera zoomed in and out because it was trying to focus on what it was seeing. And it went right across the tombstone. So you can see the dark coming out like this way, and then it goes right in front of the camera focused in and out, and then it went by. That was cool.
Ceballos says, absolutely 100%. Johnny says, and it's true, never disrespect the spirit. And Virginia says that they know that you are going in with respect. Um, and Joanne Stewart, do you know this young lady? She says, "Hi,
Yes.
sweet." She goes, "Hi, sweet, sweet male species." Ah,
Yeah, Joy.
damn,
I
man.
think she's talking about you, Sean.
Well, about me, I don't know, dude. I don't know, man. I just, my hairs just stood up on the end.
Yeah.
But no, thank you for the compliment, Joanne. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. If anybody has a question in the chat room here that would like to ask Tony, feel free to.
Yep.
Feel free to ask him a question.
They love asking questions when they get the opportunity too.
Oh, yes, they do. They want to know all about you, man. But ladies, he is taken, so you know what I mean. You can't, deal with that. I mean, you've got somebody. Okay. Greg Carr says they called out my first name numerous times and then my last name.
Yeah, they did. They loved Greg, man. They were just kept saying Greg, 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 and I said, "Yes, Greg is in here." It was almost like they were reading the chat, because I was live, and so it's like they were reading, just like they're reading the chat here, and because they were calling out the names of the people that were in the chat. But Greg was one that they were just numerously just kept saying it, and then they finally said it, Greg Koss, just like that.
Wow.
Now that, like I said, there is no way that's going to come out from this app. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not connected to nothing, and
Right.
That was cool. Like I said, that was another cool moment.
Mm-hmm.
There was just so many. There were so many in there because it was one after another after another.
So Bell has a very good question. Anthony, did you get any graveyard dirt from New Orleans?
I didn't think about it because the way to do that is, to respectfully do that, you have to leave an offering. And actually, I believe that even when you go into a cemetery, that you leave something there at the door, and then you go in and that's, or when you're coming back out. So I didn't get to do that because I was too excited. I was too blown away. I was like a little kid. I was like a little 8-year-old at the circus. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I didn't get the dirt.
Sebastian Moran says, "Great to see you, Tony. What is your best haunted house case?" Thank you.
My best haunted house case so
Yeah.
far, there has been a place here in Texas where we did use the spirit board, and we communicated with 4 girls that were there, and then the negative spirit that was holding them there, started. I mean, he was knocking down my cameras, knocking stuff down in the room because it was up in the attic. But that one was it got personal to me because the girls it was 4 girls, and then when we started to channel through the sport, and when they started speaking through it, they told us that they were dropped off there when they were little by their parents, and the parents told them that there was a friend in them, which wasn't a friend. Actually, it was a brothel.
Mm-hmm. I remember that story.
So,
yeah.
Right. So that was a really good. It was a hard hitting one for me.
Greg says, "If I was there, I would have been dancing with the spirits." That's
Yeah,
cool.
there was enough of them.
My friend Amanda, she says, "Do you travel USA or just a few areas?"
I mostly stay in Texas. The only other place that I do have on my bucket list, in which because I try to keep my bucket list, I guess, reality. Like I would love to go to the catacombs in France. You know what I mean? I would love to go to Ireland with my other friend down there, but that's kind of shooting kind of out there. You know what I mean? It might happen, it might not happen, but I want to go to Skinwalker Ranch in Utah.
Ooh. Listen, we'll go in 7 years when I retire because I'm getting myself a van, okay? And then I'm going to travel out west because I'm going to go to Boot Hill and all that crap. You know what I mean? And I'm interested in going down there. But like I told you before the show, my friend, 2 years, maybe not next year, but the year after, man, I am going down to San Antonio. And we are going to go to the forest. But before we get into the forest, my friend, Okay. I'm going to take a little 1.5 minute break so everybody can get something to drink. Do what they have to do. People know what I'm talking about. But okay, so we'll be back in about 1.5 minutes. Okay, let's get here. We'll go this way. And no, we'll go here. Okay.
Looking for stories that are fresh and new? Dark fantasy, humor, space exploration, time travel, cyberpunk, alternate history, and more. They're in the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future anthology from 24 award-winning authors and illustrators, plus art and writing tips and bonus stories. L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future. Buy your copy at galaxypress.com, Amazon, or wherever books are sold.
Looking for something new in dark fantasy, humor, space exploration, time travel, alternative history? They're in the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future anthology. Get the 10-volume box set with 159 stories and full-color illustrations plus 34 articles with writings and art tips. Get the UPRN discount, $125 for the entire box set. That's a $60 savings for that beautiful box set. L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future. Go to uprntalkradio.com, click on the link, and place your order.
Hey, welcome back to the second part of Into the Night with Sean Kelly. Just a few announcements before I go on. Next Tuesday night, Phil Siracusa will be my guest tonight, and he's going to give us part 2 about the hauntings in his house. We are on UPRN Talk Radio 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi. I will have a show on Christmas Eve. So whoever is not doing anything, or, if they want to jump on, I am going to have a show on New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve. I'm not sure about New Year's Eve, but definitely I'm going to have a show on Christmas Eve. And this Sunday, into the night, I am going to talk about, Christmas carols and the real meanings behind the carols. I mean, I know I did a show like that last year, but since I know how to research and stuff like that, it's going to be a better show. So I want to welcome back my friend Tony Ceballos, or Anthony, as he likes to call, but I'm the only one that's allowed to say Tony. Thank you, Cebal. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. So we were just talking about in the first part of that show about his trip to New Orleans. But ladies and gentlemen, I need to tell you, he is like so fascinated and attentive to the forest in San Antonio. And I tell you what, every time he goes out there, and he does some investigations, he comes back with some wonderful stories. Now, I don't, like I said at the beginning of the show, Tony, I just don't want you to go to San Antonio and like camp there in that damn forest, because I don't want to have to go in and snatch your ass out. It's so simple, brother. But Tony, talk about the forest.
Alrighty, the forest. And actually, we're going to do that. Actually, Pete and there's the other member, Carlos, they went in with me this last time, and we were just talking about this the other day, that I want to spend the night in there. So we're gonna have a spot picked out there. We're gonna take a little camping gear. We're gonna spend the night out there.
Are you allowed? Are you allowed to spend the night out there?
We're so far deep, ain't nobody gonna find us anyways.
Oh, Pete says, "Yep, we are going camping."
Yep. So that's gonna be something, because I'm like I said, I'm honored to have him on my team also, because He's been doing this for 16 years. So he's a seasoned investigator. And now he finally started to actually see with his own eyes and experience what I've been talking about. From the past that'll appear and show you the houses that are in there that you can see appear also. So at certain times in there. So it's like that. This last time that we went, which was what 2.5 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. It hasn't been that long. We went. He got to go in there with me, and it was raining. It was raining pretty good. So we did. I was live when I was doing that. So it kind of added to the atmosphere because it was dark and it's already spooky, and then with the rain and everything. But we did at that time also capture an apparition walk right in front of the camera, and it's on the live. And we were. It's because I keep hearing some noises towards the tree about 30 feet in front of us. And then I saw two eyes on the ground. He's seen them, but then he's seen the eyes raise up, like kind of real high. So we knew then it wasn't an animal if it's going to go up that high, And then so we were sitting there kind of just watching this straight. I didn't catch it with my eyes, but the camera caught it. And then when we got back, I was actually showing it on another podcast, on my other members' podcast. And that's the first time that I had seen the live. And we actually all saw it for the first time on the live. You could see right behind the tree, you could see a white apparition just walk across.
Hi, Amanda. Good to see you. Amanda Alray. Thank you for coming on the show, Amanda. That's great. And Sydney Reyes wants to know why she was not invited.
She's always invited. You're always invited. You know that.
I think she wants to hear the invitation from you.
Ready, because next time I go down there, which is going to be here pretty soon, again. So get ready.
So when are you going back down to the forest?
It'll probably be here, probably in a few months, maybe 3 months.
Okay.
It's depending on the weather, because the winter time and summertime, it affects things in there.
Okay. Now, can you just share a little backstory about the forest? Not a lot, but because I know there's some people in the chat room that don't know really about the forest that you're talking about. And what's the name of the forest?
I just call it a haunted forest. It has an urban legend. It's a bridge that's there. It's got the part of the San Antonio River that goes under the bridge into the forest. And the urban legend about it is, it's actually called the Donkey Lady Bridge. I've never investigated at the bridge. I've always gone into the forest, even from the first time that we went. But that place is so different. That's why I wanted to go to Skinwalker Ranch, because if anybody knows about Skinwalker Ranch and the years that they've been scientists have been studying that place with portals and cryptids, UFOs, everything you can think about is in that place. Well, that place, this forest is just like that. This forest has fairies. Now I'm starting to believe that there is a Bigfoot in there. I was on a show with another friend of mine, Joe, that he does Bigfoot investigations, and everything that he was describing is what goes on in that place. You have the big blue orbs, like we start considering that with the UFO side of it. You have vortexes, gateways, as I call them. You lose track of time. It's like everything you can think of paranormal is in that place. And it's also connected to the indigenous people. That's really where it comes from, dating back 10,000 years. Because they were building a dam there, and they dug it up. They found artifacts back in 1981. And I finally found that same area after 40-something years that they've covered up. I found that it's in the forest. I found it this time here when I got back of where that place is at. So I believe that that's kind of the main source, because they broke the ground. And so when I go back this time, we're going to go to those sites that are there. Okay.
How about, is there Indian burial grounds? And what was the indigenous people that hung around there?
It was the Payaya. It was 10 groups. It was 10 tribes. And what's neat about this, because this last time that I went, I asked through the spirit box, how many tribes are here? And they said 10. When we got back, Kami, actually, one of my friends there, she did the research on it, and she found it where it names all 10 groups. So, what they told me through the spirit box was correct. And the Papaya tribe is one of them. And so when they were digging the ground there, they were digging with the backhoes and everything to build the Applewhite Dam in San Antonio. They found the artifacts. They found arrowheads and pottery, everything. And they dated them back 10,000 years. So going 10,000 years forward, how many generations is that were on that land? Where did they bury them? They're buried there. And then 10,000 years later, they come and make a bike trail through there, right through the smack in the middle of the forest.
Interesting. But Ceballos says, when my daughter was 6, she saw a huge blue orb in our kitchen traveling to the dining room. Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Ceballos. Really. And Carol Garcia says, hello, Sean and Anthony.
Yeah. What's up, Carol? Carol knows a lot about it too.
Does she really?
Yeah, she's been following that. And see, that's where I've heard this argument. One of the biggest arguments other than this right here is the orbs. There is no such thing as orbs.
Who said that? Who said that?
Well, I've heard
Is that you? Is that you?
Me?
Do you believe in orbs?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that's one of the big arguments other than this one is that there is no orbs. Well, and that's what I always say is, well, you've never been to this place. And give me a date. I know what time we're going in because there's a specific time. There's patterns to this place. I've been doing this for almost 3 years now. I've been there 15 times. So I understand the land now. I understand the patterns. Give me a date and I'll meet you there, and I'll show you what you're never seen before.
Ceballos says that you're very interesting.
Thank you.
And Johnny,
a little weird.
Hold on 1 second. Johnny said that a lot of this has been handed down in teaching in Native history. That's possible, more than likely.
Yeah.
When you went to get your information about, is it the Papaya tribe?
Right.
Okay. Did you go to a library or something?
No.
Or how did you get your information?
We have the power of Google.
Okay.
So when I started to research the land, that's how I found out that they were digging the dam back in 1981. They found all that. They actually have schematics, old survey maps in there. And that's how I found now the 2 locations of where they were digging, so that's the place that I want to go to now. And then it starts to name the tribes that are in San Antonio way before the settlers, but before the Spanish and the Europeans started invading and killing everybody. And that's the story, actually, what they've told me so far, because I've communicated with the indigenous people that are there. And they've actually started to tell me the story of what happened at that place. Right. They were taken out. When they started to invade Texas, or before it was Texas. Of course, what they did to the indigenous people. And so let's say I have to go. Or okay, Greg, that's good.
All right, Greg. Thank you. Have a good show tonight, Greg. Thank you for coming on.
So the Papaya people, which they're still, because those are the ones also they also went into the missions that are down there and seek refuge from the priests, at the time. But there's still a small band of true Papaya tribes in San Antonio. So this next time that I go back, unless I'm already there and moved there, I have found two historians there that are part of the tribe. So I'm going to connect with them and start to get the story of their people that are there, because awesome. I believe that I know that my ancestors have come from there.
Okay.
Because I remember that my grandmother would tell me stories about her mother, which is my great grandmother, that she would say that they were from that part of San Antonio down south. So that means the tribe, one of her tribes is one of those tribes that was there. And I think that's the reason why I have such a connection with it. And it allows me to go in there, because not everybody can go in there. There's very, very, very few that can go in there, and really there's been hardly zero to none, other than myself or who goes with me. And because I have that bloodline connection with it, and I think that's why they're sharing that. And that just
absolutely, dude.
And all this just came from just a whim. We weren't even planning to go investigate the first time we went there. We just went there on a whim. We were doing my son is a music artist. We were doing a show in San Antonio. We got out late, and then we just said, "Hey, let's just go somewhere." And I just looked it up and went there. And that very first time that we went, that was a doozy. From that point on,
I think that would be pretty cool, knowing that you actually have ancestors in that forest, dude.
Yep, it is.
And I bet you, no wonder you're always safe when you go in there. I know if I was in your position, because my family root back into Ireland, okay, and if I know that if I went into a castle down the Rhine, my family's from Galway, okay, and County Cork and County Mayo. And if I ever went into a haunted castle, I know my people would be there protecting me too. So think about it. All the other people that actually went into that forest, okay, and got screwed up. But you, my friend, have family there, and they probably protected you and your group.
Yeah, to a certain extent. Some of my group I lost. My original group that we went in. And
okay.
Okay, now I got to rephrase that because everybody knows that story. No, I didn't lose them in a portal. It got to them because that place will get in your head. It will break you down.
Look, you're moving down there. Look what it did to you.
Well, it's because there's so much there. There's not just there. Now that I find that there's tunnels that are leading from caves that are a little bit outside of the city, and some in the city that go underneath the forest and underneath San Antonio. Okay. And that people have not even gone in there yet. And I think there's connections to all that. Everything's connected in there. So that's another That's another piece of the puzzle now. This 3-year ongoing love affair with this place. I guess that we'll be going into the caves under the ground.
George has a question. He said to me, please tell me what Sean Kelly's known for.
Hey, what's up, George?
First of all, George, I'm a very good friend of Tony's. Second of all, and I'm the only one that's allowed to call him Tony, but second of all, I formed the Pittsburgh Paranormal Society back in 2006. I am a retired paranormal researcher. And right now I do podcasts on Into the Night with me. And that's about it. That's who I am now. Some people have asked me if I could do a show all about me, but when I talk about myself, I don't. I'm tenacious. Yeah. But one day I'm going to have a show about me because I hate talking about me because I feel like that I'm being egotistical, if you know what I mean, Tom. But so we got about, what do you got about? Where are we at? 43. Okay, about 10 more minutes, brother. So you were telling me beforehand that you have, yes, it is, Johnny, real hard. And ladies and gentlemen, I might pull cards tonight. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll just pull one card for the evening. In fact, I came up with the idea, instead of pulling cards on Tuesday night, I will definitely pull them on Sunday nights. So talk about your business that you got going on with, does your wife run it with you?
Oh, yes. She's known as the Wraith Queen.
The Wraith Queen.
Yes. And we have a Wraith Worlds, which my podcast is Wraith World. One of them, and my second podcast is Wraith Worlds Oracle of Darkness, where I talk more about the dark magic, what people consider dark, witchcraft and all that. The stuff that you don't hear about. And but we also have Wraith Worlds from the Dust, Crystals, and Minerals, which is our crystal store. And we just got another big batch yesterday of boxes full of them. So that's one That's the other business that we have aside from the my Texas Wraith Hunters.
Sabel said, "Could you please invite her to it? Your podcast, right, Sabel?" I want to think. Yeah, I think that's what she's talking about. I'm not sure. But when you mean what do you consider? Yes, going to your podcast there, Tony. But when you talk about minerals, sir, what kind of minerals do you sell?
It's like this, like these right here. This is a dragon's tooth. This is an amethyst dragon's tooth, which is called. So which is a crystal, and then like that one right there. This is a labradorite.
Okay.
That's got a lot of and then also too, there's something like these, but of course your bracelets.
Right.
Yeah, these are mine. So these are, and then you can your spheres, and I think you're gonna like this one though. It's everything.
That's mine, right? That's the one that I've been waiting for that you haven't mailed me yet, dude.
That's an obsidian skull with a dragon on top of it.
Oh, I don't want the dragon. I want the bird.
Yeah, I remember the crow, right? I think it's
the crow. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. While you're looking for it, Sabel says that you need to study about light and dark so there is a balance. You know what I mean, buddy?
What did she say? Where's it at? You need to study in dark. So, okay, a little bit about myself, real quick. I work with light and dark, so I'm in the middle. So when you're talking about, I think somebody mentioned about the graveyard dirt. I think it was Sabel, right?
Yeah.
It's the dirt. Yes, and I saw somebody ask that question. Yes, you use the dirt for spells. That's why you take the graveyard dirt.
My brother collected graveyard dirt. I don't know what he did with it, but he would collect it too. I'm not I don't collect graveyard dirt. See, to me, a graveyard, a cemetery, is a very sacred place. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like me going to your house, Tony, and saying, "Well, I'm going to steal this, steal this stuff off of you," because if you look at it, cemeteries and graves are their homes. You know what I mean?
And
I would have to ask permission to do it. You know what I mean?
And that's what makes it so powerful, because it's sacred, and you're taking sacred ground like that. And right. that's what when you turn that into your spell work, that's what makes it even more powerful. Here's a dragon, gold dragon.
Sweet.
Just showing off. So I got all kinds of stuff around me.
So you're gonna have to have a show. Just bring your wife on and do stones, man.
We did. We just did one not too long ago.
Well, thank you for not telling me that, buddy. I would have been there. I thought you were my friend.
I posted it. We posted it.
Geez. Yeah, right. No, you got to do another one. Maybe I'll bring your wife on my show. What do you think, everybody in the chat room? Bring Tom's wife on, and she can talk about crystals and stones and stuff like that.
She's got a bunch. She's got a bunch.
But no, I'd like to ask you this question, and then we'll be closing up here pretty soon. Okay. What is your opinion on shadow people?
On shadow people, they are real. I've seen them all the time, especially in the forest, and that's not only at night. You can see them during the daytime. I have many videos where you can see them behind us, lurking behind the trees. Even capture some more on this last live that we did. So there's some on this time here. There's some stuff that's peeking out of the trees that looks. I don't know what kind of creature that was. It kind of looked like a smiley face with teeth.
Okay.
And that one looked really creepy. I haven't, because I know there's different things in there, but that one, to know that me and Pete were in the middle of this by ourselves at night like that, surrounded by these things that everybody was seeing on the live, and they were screenshotting it. So there was another one. There was a man that had like a big black hat with a long black coat standing next to the tree. So there was different ones, you know what I mean? But they are definitely real. And I
Right.
think, but also too, the apparition that we saw was a white mist. You could see it walking, and it was walking behind the trees in front of us that the camera caught.
Right.
So I had a white, and I was just thinking about the other day about that is because why is that one white and these are black?
Mm-hmm.
You see, so is there something, you know,
And that's what we're in the business for, to figure out what all this stuff is about, man.
right?
But the crazy thing, I look at it like, is that, we see things, we study it, we figure out what it is, and then all of a sudden something pops up different, and it's like, oh, hell, I got to do all this research again. But, Carol Garcia said, Anthony, I just finished going through my screenshots, and we really need to talk. Okay,
Yeah.
just want to get into
She was capturing a lot of it.
sweetness, sweet. But we're getting pretty close to the end, my friend. I want to thank you for coming on.
Goes by so quick.
I know it's only an hour, brother, and I'm getting kind of used to it myself. You know what I mean? But I want to thank you for coming on, and everybody out there in the chat rooms. Everybody that knows Anthony that came into the room tonight, I truly appreciate that you did.
Yes, they're awesome.
I really do, man. You can always go to the Pittsburgh Paranormal Society, Facebook page. And I'll get Anthony to send you all over so you can, be in contact with mine. Ceballos says, yes, Anthony, you're amazing. Please contact me.
Yes, I'll send you a friend request, Ceballos.
Thank you, Ceballos. I appreciate it.
That way you can watch the lives that are on my podcast. On my page from the forest from way back also.
Yes.
There's a ton of them on there.
Everybody, and like I say, I'm going to pull one card tonight, and it is the Coyote. Okay. So we'll see about the Coyote. Great to see you, Sean and Anthony, by Seeing Through the Veil. Sebastian says, thank you, Sean and Tony. George says, you're only on Facebook. I'll talk to Tony and I'll tell him where you can find me at there, George. Sebastian, thank you. Thank you, Sibel. Thank you, Carol. Yeah. It was a wonderful show. It was a freaking great show, man. I really, truly appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, everybody, just remember, this is the holiday season, and, there's a lot of people that are very depressed and stuff like that. So, give them a hug or something like that, and be there with them. And children, please go to your parents, give them a hug and tell them that you love them. And parents, please go to your children and tell them that you love them, because those 3 words, I love you, go a long, long way. And if you don't have children, or you don't have no parents, find a friend and give them a hug and tell them that you love them. So don't remember, Sunday night, this Sunday coming up, we're going to talk about the original meanings behind some Christmas carols. And next Tuesday, please, I'm going to advertise this all week. Phil Siracusa in the second part of his house. And on that note, everybody, Tony, thank you for coming on. Everybody, thank you coming in the chat room and commenting. And on that note, we are going home.
Thank you, everyone.